everybody, welcome back to another Dirty 20 D&D adventure. Today I am here joined by our cast, if you want to call them that, or players. Starting with Hesken, being played by Jacob Lee.
Hello.
And we have Allis Brightwood, being played by Alicia Lee. Alicia, I'm sorry. Alicia, tomato. We have the mighty Horgarn, being played by Jason McGee.
The one and only.
And then we have finally kicking us off with our crazy lunatic blood hunter named Kalsifer, being played by John Cole.
Hello.
And
Not so crazy.
Well, that's debatable.
Not so crazy in person.
But
That's not what the tree said.
tell that to the chillin' tree.
that tree was pesky looking.
And I am your dungeon master for tonight. You can just simply call me Ted.
Ted Talks.
Ted Talks.
Ted
I
DMs.
can't tell you that.
No, that's fine. You can call me the dungeon master. All right, to give you a quick recap, last time our heroes had gone to sleep after defeating Jocasta New and her guards. After Horgarn decided he was going to loot this gems just sitting on the throne, our heroes woke up in what seemed to be a different place in a bed. And very simply, they were transported to the astral plane by our very good friend Victor Silvertail, also known as Kaizar dragonborn and tiefling god of a different realm. Very simply, and to kind of get to the point, Kaizar had asked them to perform a trial in which to go through the vault and perform a series of tests in which our heroes did indeed beat the vault, at which time Kaizar is at the vault waiting for the heroes, and he gives them a very brief history lesson as to heroes of his world and to the ultimate fate of what had happened, in which he very simply tells the heroes that they cannot trust Balthazar and that he's just not a good guy. Our heroes are then teleported after receiving some wonderful gifts, and they are teleported back to the city of Carn in the throne room, and that is where we last left off with our heroes. And with that, we will go ahead and pick back up with the Dirty 20.
The Dirty 20! Woo!
All right. So, you guys had just gotten teleported back into the city of Carn, specifically in the throne room.
Ooh, okay.
I believe the last time you guys had decided to talk, or when you were talking it out, you had decided to go back there, possibly either to do some shopping or to discuss a plan of attack as to what you guys wanted to do next. I will now open up the time for roleplay.
What the heck am I supposed to do with this sword?
As the sword is letting off steam.
Did it get transported from the adventure hall?
Oh!
To like just in front of us, just like sitting on the ground.
Just clumped into the ground on the floor.
You can't touch it.
Can't touch
Too hot.
it. I can't put it into my bag because it'll burn my freaking bag. I'm literally gonna just leave it there. I can't do anything with it. Can't cool it down.
Do not touch Kaizar's.
I
Kalsifer's sword.
I know what you could do with it. Just stick it underneath a big bowl of water, and then you guys yourself a hot tub.
We can set it outside. We can start charging people.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's like a tourist attraction.
It's a tourist attraction for Carn.
The never-cooling sword.
Now turned into a hot tub.
At this point in time, some guards do come in, and they do. Was that?
Is there hot tubs in our world now?
There could be.
There's about to be.
Horgarn does have a trademark company after all.
He
Patent pending.
Patent pending on a hot tub.
I require money for my contribution.
But the only one.
There are two guards that come in, and it's an older looking guard, and he says, "My lord, we could not find you. what had happened. You disappeared.
Yeah, we went on a crazy trip.
It's
On trip.
you have been gone for 2 days.
What? 2
What?
days?
What?
2 days?
There's a lot that's happened within the 2 days.
Alright, fill me in. Like, I had no idea. Like, okay, honestly, yeah, we were gone. We were transported against our will by this useless god named Kaizar. Emphasize on useless.
Not god material. Horgarn is.
And we just got back from his quote-unquote useless world with all these useless items. Except this trident. It's pretty nifty.
At least
Right. Very interesting story.
Fill us in what happened, please.
Oh boy,
And your name, sir?
me, I'm Jim.
Jim the...
Jim the guard.
I'm Jim Ole, the guard.
Okay.
Jamole the God. I like it.
Jimole.
Anyways, as I was saying, after you had been gone the first day, we recently started receiving very oddly tremors, earthquakes essentially. Several of the grounds was shaking. The next day, the second day, there were these giant, massive people
Giants?
walking. They looked blue in nature, and they looked like they had gills on the side. Yes.
Can I roll a history check? Would
Sure.
that be history?
Yeah.
Were they dangerous?
Yeah.
Well,
They came out of the...
it's...
Where did they come from?
We don't know. That's the thing. To be quite honestly, we just know that they kind of started coming pretty much towards from the city of like the Elven Kingdom and towards that whole road in that area.
Did they attack you?
Not necessarily, no, but they
Wait, gills or scales?
scales, gills. I don't know. I'm just a guard.
Where those things
So
called?
is it
What are those
I
things
rolled
called
a
for
13.
Warcraft?
13. You don't really know. I mean, you've kind of heard tales of overhearing like certain rangers that have traveled to different realms, different planes, and they have essentially talked about like different types of giants that they've come across. You're not too sure as to the exact giant, but you probably would imagine that it has to do something with either the water or something along with that nature.
And Carn is like on the water, right?
Correct. It's a coastal city.
Something to do with a trident?
That was just random.
But was it?
Blade
Wait, so are
into
they
the
in the
ocean?
city?
No, that's the thing, my lord. They decided they were going to head towards the ocean, and they just kind of sunk into the ocean.
Sounds like a phenomenon.
Yeah, I don't quite get it, but I just thought you should know.
Jim, that's some great gossip, but why are you freaking out about it? It doesn't seem like
They're-
anything happened.
They're giants!
Are they attacking the city?
So
Are they
the one
causing
thing
trouble?
we should mention is they had the power to control the storm, to create storms when they entered the water.
Have they been creating storms?
You can see that currently there is like what appears to be a storm cloud kind of in the middle of the not the city per se, but it's more towards further out in the ocean, like dark clouds. Some thunder storms do crackle, and then it just kind of disappears, like the clouds just kind of vanish, and it's off in the distance. So
We live in a world of magic and you're freaking out.
well, I mean, I don't have magic. I mean, it's not normal to me, you know, but I guess you would have to. I guess magic is normal, but still, it's very freaky to see a giant, sir.
I would imagine, yes.
I mean, we've never encountered these beings before.
Anything else happened in these last 2 days?
Well, other than that, we've received word from an orcish encampment, or at least our spies that is within the orcish encampments, that your mother possibly might be there. But as far as your father, we're not too sure. We're checking out rumors that he may have been shipped across the sea.
Oh no!
It's on an adventure.
He's on an adventure.
He comes back and it's just like, what the heck happened to Carn?
What?
It's just a
I was
vacation.
gone for like a week. I went to my manor on this. No. But yeah, so
So is this the town guard, or is this one of
yeah,
the?
this is kind.
Ronin-
It's kind of like your not. It's like a royal town guard. So like he's a member of like the new royal guard that was founded.
Yeah.
But he's essentially like a town guard.
Okay. Yeah, I think about how would I be able to contact Ronin, the beast, the
Weremen?
What? Nothing.
Well, I came into the city, right, to talk to you.
Shifter.
The shifter.
Go ahead and roll me a perception for all of you. Anyone who would like to roll a perception. You can borrow my lid if you would like.
I got a 21.
21.
Got a 17.
Got an 18.
17, 18. Good, good.
12.
Okay, that's actually good enough. You do see that there is a hooded monk sitting in the corner. And he is just kind of sitting there with his hands folded, just waiting patiently.
Oh, has there been any news of Lord? I'm talking to the guard.
Yes.
Has there been any news of Lord Harrington or any other developments within the cities?
No, my lord. The last thing we do know is that Lord Harrington said he had a business trip across the sea.
And he's already left.
And he's already been gone. It was around the same time that you left, or excuse me, that it was around the same time that you and your friends came into town.
If your father is across the sea, then I'm already sure Lord Harrington had something to do with it. That he could possibly be going to where your father is being.
Do we have scouts or spies to look into that?
There, as he's about to speak, the monk does get up and he says, "We do, my lord. We have already sent our own scouts across the way." And he kind of comes out of the shadows a bit, and his hood is down as he kind of approaches and stops in front of you. Or not in front of you, but to the side.
Before I turn my attention to him, I turn, still talking to the royal guards, okay, anything else to report?
Well, ever since you've decided that you were going to get rid of slavery, things have turned out pretty well. We've started rebuilding, and for the most part, people are happy. We've driven out the slavers that back across the sea.
That's good.
And we have...
I was concerned of somewhat of a pushback from the slavers.
What happened with the dragonborn slaves?
They were set free, but the ones that we did not get to were shipped across the sea as originally planned by the slavers.
But at least we stopped slavery.
Partially.
With your permission, sir,
Yeah.
many of the... He seems a bit hesitant, and then he says to you, we would like to consider rebuilding the other trade princes' homes so we can once again restore balance and harmony within the city of Carn.
He seemed really nervous to tell you that.
We're not sure exactly, It's up to you, of course, my lord. It's just an idea. He seems a little nervous to even bring it up to you, but he decided he was going to bring it up.
Why don't you just form some kind of council in the town? You're not going to be able to stay here anyways. You're going to need someone to rule in your stead for your company, especially while your parents are gone. And in Carn, if you leave it to where those other companies end up getting built, there is a chance with everything that's happened, they will try to subjugate your branch. So if you leave it with something to where the other trade companies are rebuilt and make it so that way there's a council that's a third member party amongst all of them that can lead the town correctly and make it so that way the townsmen also get a chance to change some of the things inside the town. Make a democracy.
So you're suggesting that they all kind of run the town together.
But we would need a council in order to do that.
Council of Traders.
And you could form something even greater than what your father started. imagine all those trade companies all working together out of Carn. It was already a trade city. It would become a trade nation.
All good suggestions.
The older guard kind of is very, his interest is very piqued at the proposition.
Sounds like a good idea, but at the moment we'll have to revisit it later since there are other more pressing matters at hand. But we will revisit the issue.
You're very kind, my lord. That's all we really wanted to ask, is that you would consider it
But for now,
a possibility.
for now we should protect Carn from the evil devils and Brotherhood and other people who like.
We've already rooted out the remaining Brotherhood members that were among your people. Sire,
Good. And
says the monk.
good. And let's continue to rebuild the city.
And they nod and they walk off. The guards walk off.
Thank you. Come again.
We will, your majesty.
Okay, and then as they leave, now I turn my attention back to the monk.
So the monk pulls back his hood, revealing a kind of younger looking man. And he says to you, "My lord, we have indeed sent scouts both across and to the Orcish encampment, and it does appear that Jocasta Nu is there as well as your mother in the Orcish encampment. Lord Harrington has indeed gone across the sea towards the southern hemisphere, or the southern lands, continent specifically. As to your father, we believe he might be there."
Do you know what's going on at the Orcish encampment? Like, I mean, obviously, my mom's there being held captive.
There's a few things that we do suspect, or at least believe, that might happen, but I fear, my lord, that it may not be the news you would like to hear, per se.
We gotta hear it anyways. I mean, we're ramping up a plan. We need all the info we can get.
Very wise, my lord. Number one, we believe that your mother is most likely going to be stuck to fight to the death in a gladiator type pit or arena within the Orcish encampments. But more specifically, we believe that it's a ruse to really draw you guys into the Orcish city. The second thing that we are more, I would say, and this is no disrespect to your mother, but we believe that the warlord is going to plan an invasion soon on the city of Carn.
Warlord? What warlord?
Like the Orc Chieftain.
Correct.
But in this case, since they're amassing a war party...
Correct.
Can switch over Chieftain to Warlord now.
Correct. And he is a very young warlord at that, or war chieftain, as you put it. And it seems that he has the ears and at least the loyalty of the other Orcish clans. We, with your permission, Ronan and our people will be willing to fight alongside you. However, we cannot speak for the city of Carn.
I don't really understand what the big deal is. You already understand. You should know more than everyone here. Orcs only follow power. Why don't you just go and challenge the Lord?
Could do that.
A one-on-one fight with the Orc warlord?
Yeah, through the tradition of Chuka. Basically a challenge power. Challenge directly to the chieftain. Whoever wins is the...
Sorry, YouTube, I'm dying. Oh, okay, I'm not dying anymore.
Yeah, Chuka. The tradition of basically challenging the chieftain, and whoever wins becomes the new chief.
The younger man standing before you kind of strokes his chin. He has no beard, but he's stroking his chin.
Very
very wisely and sage-like, and he says, "It is very dangerous. I would suggest that you consider bringing special poisons that might do the trick. Or at least arrows."
But I need some anyways, so probably should procure some. But
we would assist you if you want us to.
well, so that's one option. Could do the Chuka, challenge him, but I don't know how strong this guy is. I don't know if he's if that happens, he might be beefed up by demonic powers. Know that.
Well,
Any other suggestions?
yes, Monk. Have you seen where the orcs get their water and food supplies?
Most of them tend to get their water and food supplies from the hill orcs, or the orcs that thrive within the hills and forest. However, on occasion, depending on the... I use that Storm Giants? Yeah. Depending on the occasion, they do tend to go hunting within the mountains as well as foraging within the mountains and forests.
When was the last time they received their shipment of goods?
We believe it was about 3-4 days ago. A large shipment, to be sure.
Do you know of their regular schedule?
We do not, as we only recently started studying them about personally within 3 to 4 days ago.
Okay.
Our own tribe before you lot showed up in the forest.
Do they have any wells in the town that they regularly drink from?
We don't know that information yet, but we can certainly take a look.
Alish, would you be able to send Night Fury in as bird form and be able to get more information on the town? We can definitely be able to see more of it without them knowing.
Yes, I can.
I know you have to summon him again anyways.
No.
I thought you got cut in half.
Because I killed him.
Oh yeah, you did. Talk about that.
You hear a voice from beyond, "I hate that fool."
Yeah, we can do that. We have to get close though.
That's fine. My idea is if we can find a way to be able to either poison their way of drinking to fatigue them, or to even infiltrate a shipment of their resources and attempt to poison them in some way, it will make you challenging the leader a little easier, or even make it so you don't have to do it at all.
Not that we don't have faith that you could beat him.
I have all the faith that you can beat them.
This one is very cunning, my lord. I suggest you heed his counsel. To a certain degree, anyways.
Do I think it's going to solve all the problem? No. Orcs are strong. They can survive for a long time with illnesses that would affect a human. But can they make the orcs weak enough to take any advantages away that they might have had previously? Yes, I think we can do that.
This would be a good opportunity to take care of 2 birds with 1 stone. Jocasta knew and the warlord, to be for sure.
And I mean, think about it. If you were to go and challenge the leader, they will not attack you until the time of the duel being finished. If you complete the duel, you are going to kill him and become the leader. You're already trying to form things with Carn and trying to fix it there. Imagine if you were able to start good, trade units between orcs and humans, and if you won, you would be in charge of those orcs, which would stop the other orcs from being able to team up with this group and attack Carn. It seriously takes care of multiple birds with 1 stone.
Multiple stones.
It would definitely splinter the orcish army, to be for sure. It may not solve the problem, but they would most likely scatter back into separate tribes, unless someone powerful enough to unite them could keep a sufficient group together.
And that's if it even worked in the first place.
Correct, assuming it did even work.
But let's not forget that all of this is happening in a moment of causality where they're all forming up because of my aunt, who is dabbling in the dark arts, who's trying to, bring about all this dark demonic stuff. So not necessarily like mean, yes, the current problem is the orc tribes, but like the real problem is her. Because even if I do win or whatever, what's to say that she doesn't decide to demon possess all the orcs anyways? She's definitely gonna like do some sort of underhanded tricks in there.
So we would need to take care of her, and also because like she's probably already kind of manipulated the tribe. So you still need to take care of the chieftain. I'm sure. I mean, maybe once we take care of her, maybe she's just like mind controlling him, and maybe that solves it. But it may not. We still might have to do something with him even after we take her down.
You would actually know that the orc warlord that chased out your mother hates humans.
Hates humans?
Yeah, he hates humans, despises them, and he pretty much is all for blood and guts. At least that's what your mother had told you growing up.
Did you say there was also some humans within that war?
Correct, that followed Jocasta New up into the orc encampment.
Ooh, I bet that's causing friction.
But remember,
we could start a civil war.
But remember, at the same time, she doesn't have that ring anymore.
She doesn't.
So she can't control people unless she has some kind of a spare. And in my opinion, a ring that is that powerful, it will not be that easily obtained to have another of the exact or even to the same degree.
Especially if we act quickly.
Especially if we act quickly. We've already lost 2 days.
There is another monk that does come out of the shadows, and he whispers.
Just popping out of the woodwork, you termites!
The younger one who was stroking his chin kind of smirks at the comment. He does listen after the other monk is whispering, and he nods, and the one that had just appeared disappears. He says, "There was another giant spotted heading northward into the frozen wastelands, near the orcish encampments, within the orcish encampment areas.
The same kind of giant?
We do not know, but chances are it wouldn't be a storm giant or one who can cause storms. That's what we have begun to label them as storm giants."
Question.
What if we could make an alliance with these giants, actually?
These monks, are they Ronin's men?
Correct,
That's what I'm assuming that
Correct.
they were the whole time.
And they dress in monk garbs, whether or not they're actually monks
Yeah,
is
no,
a
I know
different
what you
story. But yeah, they are. They appeared with Ronin. At least 5 of them did, and it's possible that there are more of them walking around the city, doing what they had promised, which was to help protect and rebuild the city.
Okay.
As well as obviously trading.
Where was the giant?
So the storm giant.
No, the one they saw, just the one.
So the storm giant, the guard had said it came from like the Elvish kingdom towards the city of Carn, from the Elvish kingdom, as well as that road by Aiden Aurora. On the map, heading straight northward, it would be assumed that it possibly came from around Aiden Aurora, as Aiden Aurora is directly in the center towards the south area.
What about the other one? Did you say something about the frost?
So
Frostlands.
the Frostlands are up north by like where the orcs are at, and there's another city, what would be like a city of light, kind of like how Aiden Aurora is a city of light. There's another one up north that your regiment with your commander went to.
Yeah.
And that's where the other giant.
And that's where this other giant is currently heading, is more northwards towards the Arctic mountains and the ice frozen north area up there. And
Do any of you guys know?
and there's
much
more
about
than
giants?
one. So like the storm giant, it looked like there was one. It's possible there may be more, but this one was traveling with at least a group.
Can I roll a history check because I kind of
Go
Cheated.
for it.
I kind of cheated a little bit.
With the book.
I researched. This was a 6, so 13.
13.
Yeah.
Very similar to the first one. You've heard stories from rangers that have traveled through different dimensions, as well as some wizards. They have come to call them frost giants because they mainly tend to wield what would be like the power of ice, frost, and they tend to dwell with cold lands, or at least where the cold would be.
Ah, that place is called Asgard, and one of them is named Loki. Am I correct?
No.
Can I share what I learned from here?
Sure.
Okay, so for the storm giant, it says it's chaotic good, but for the frost giant, it's neutral evil.
That just sounds like the same thing to me.
No.
No.
Chaotic good and
Chaotic good. He's chaotic good.
I'm chaotic good. You do whatever is kind of in your zone, and you normally lean towards good. You make your own decisions. Neutral evil is where you don't side with anybody, but you normally go towards the bad.
Yeah. Storm giants, I don't think we really need to worry about. I mean, maybe the storms aren't good. But if there's frost giants heading up to the orcs' encampments, they could be working with them, and that's...
It looks like it's heading past, past them. Yeah, they're heading towards what would be the icy mountains and the cold north.
Okay.
Where the orcs are at, it is a cold area in general because they're close to the mountains and the frosty forests, but they're not there are orc tribes within the mountain ranges, but
okay, so it's not heading to the encampment. It's just kind of
correct. It is not heading towards the warlord's camp or the army's camp, the giant army. It is heading towards where the mountains are at.
Okay.
And the frozen tundras.
Just thought
Warrior of Ronin. What is your name?
My name, sir. X.
X, go and give it to you.
No, he says that is the nickname that they come to call me by, but it is Xenon.
Why not Z?
My name is spelled with an X. That is why.
Yeah, but Z sounds cooler.
Thanks for getting my back there, Jason.
Xenon. Oh, Z, no X.
I was born this way. I did not choose my name.
I was born this way. Yow! So many different options. That map that I had earlier, when I held it against a candlelight, was it a secret passageway or?
Correct. It was a secret passageway, so they're in the center of the town where the statue of the Maiden of Voyage is.
Yeah.
There's an underground passage that looks like it heads out of the city, heading northward, so it exits towards where the coastal rocks would be.
Yeah.
It heads out of the city, and there's this what would look like a secret path that heads northward, essentially.
Well, we can't use that one because
Your aunt knows about it.
she knows about it, and if I showed her, since I showed her about it, then she will definitely set some traps and guards to secure that path. So,
but even worse than that, they can use that to invade in times of their attacking.
So we need to try and
close it off.
Yeah,
Either we need to close it off or we need to use it ourselves.
or both.
so there's that. There's challenging the chieftain, or I can have my doppelganger challenge him while we sneak around and do some assassinations.
Doppelganger, what?
I have,
Oh
so
yeah,
I have
it's a doppelganger.
So I have a
too.
necklace that allows me to create a doppelganger, which is an exact copy of my
The one
character.
given by that useless god.
The useless guy.
That one
Kaizar.
god that was useless.
Just remember, Horgarn, what Kaizar said.
It remembers its death.
If you go in there as the separate and it does not survive, when you summon it again, it will remember that you sent him to his death.
Well, I hope he will win. I hope I will win, because he is me and I am him. So I have confidence in myself. So I could have him do the whole challenge thing while we sneak around and do some assassinating business. Although that could cause... Or we can use that cloud, that mist manipulation, and then go in there and start a civil war between the humans and the orcs. Be like, you filthy orc! You dirty... Just start.
Are you humans?
So you
humans.
would just like put mist in and then just like
Go in and start fighting.
kind of like start rumors, kind of like.
No, just kill a human there, kill an orc in there, and then like.
Are you sure you're not chaotic good?
I'm starting to get that way, aren't I? Chaotic good.
You gotta
Think of it
play
like
to your
this,
character.
guys. That's exactly what they did in Carn.
Well, yeah, that's true. Or we could try and, because I speak giant, we could go catch up to this giant, maybe convince him to be on our side, I guess. And somehow have him invade the crypt. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Frost giants
There's
seem more likely to be joining the orcs than to join us.
Or should we just go and
talk to them.
Storm
crossbows blazing?
Well, I think we're not going to be able to win any fight with the orcs on
Just
our own.
us.
Yeah.
Or
just
should we
four
just
of
do a
us, or
full
five
out
of us.
battle?
I think that
What's with that look?
I always give this look when I like an idea.
Xenon,
Yes, sorry, you are not my lord, but yes.
we know of the rune that produces smoke or mist. Would we be able to use that and create traps all along the outside as a distraction of the orc village?
Ooh, we can have them help us too.
You could, but the mist only protects in a certain amount of area. It
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily travel throughout the whole land.
Well, what if you take it with you? Does it surround you with smoke?
No, you would have to activate it and
So
send
you'd
it
have
down.
to activate that down.
Yes.
Is there a lot of humans with my aunt, or is what's the ratio?
Assume that there was probably about 20 humans, maybe 40 that went up. A small group dressed in black cloaks,
And how many orcs are?
numbered in the thousands.
What? Oh
So
crap!
That's more like a town than an encampment.
Pretty much.
Like literally a war party.
It's a war encampment, a war host.
I was thinking like, oh, maybe there's like 100. No.
Thousands.
And Carn's definitely not 1,000.
You're gonna have to stock up
Well,
on
Carn
those
is-
arrows.
Carn's a big city.
Karn's a big city, but you would probably
We don't
guess
have, there's no standing army.
correct pretty much due to the recent civil war that was caused by this Baelor, this giant devil. You would probably guess that you could muster maybe a couple days defense to get people out of the city in the secret passageway, assuming it's not trapped or rigged or guarded. You could probably get people out that way if the city were to be attacked, but you would probably only have enough for maybe a day's actual defense, if half a day at best.
Well,
This turned into the banner saga. If anybody knows that game,
I
give a
do.
shout out.
I think we should talk to the storm giants.
Oh, now you want us to talk to the storm? Wait, the storm giants or the frost giants?
Storm giants.
Storm giants.
Storm giants are
The ones that walked through the city and went into the sea without doing anything.
I don't have a problem with that.
I still like my subterfuge. Not my subterfuge. My Civil War idea. Do you think the monks can do that? I mean, can you guys are you guys assassins or anything like that?
We do have people that are specialized in assassinating targets, but I would strongly recommend or at least encourage some of your earlier options,
Which was that?
such as challenging this warlord to a one-on-one combat, or if you could kill Jocasta Nu, possibly, if this warlord is indeed under a spell, could be freed. Or maybe go talk to the giants. But
Or-
as I said, our people, the shifters, will fight on your behalf.
Well, let me ask you this.
Man, where are those elven special forces?
Horgarn, do you know, and even you, Xenon, do you know if the other trade companies were completely destroyed, or are there still specialists that are around?
He does not. He's new to the city.
I don't know.
Well, I say we find out. If there are specialists that can still build, I say we give them mine my crossbow, the repeater, and they can make multiple prototypes and stock up a lot of people in this town. They can
To
equip a lot of
defend or
people
go to war?
Ah, Horgarn, my friend.
to defend.
There's a little gnome that kind of is wobbling up.
To the throne room?
Yeah.
Let this guy in. Mates! Yes, couple pots.
Yes, you remember me.
Of course.
I'm glad, my friend. As promised, I know this is a bit of a, please forgive me, it's a bit of a rough time, but I have new sending stones for you.
Oh, nice. What do these ones do?
So
Did they
very,
teleport us?
no, I'm sorry, no, no.
You need to work on that as a prototype.
Maybe if I knew magic. Maybe if I knew magic.
Man.
You know,
Well, these
great-
stones
great.
are magical, so you do know magic.
To a certain degree. But these ones will allow you to talk into them. Well, let me rephrase that. Please. And he holds up, and he just kind of stands there, and he goes like this.
I have the stone next to my face.
And then as you can see that as he lets go of the button, it starts to light up.
Mm-hmm. So I press the button.
And you hear the sound, isn't this really cool?
And then I press the button, and then I send my thoughts that this is awesome.
What's going on here?
And he
Wait.
presses it, and he gives a thumbs up. I thought you would like it. I had about roughly 3-4 weeks head start in technology and
Nice.
assistance.
Question. Can he hear it like out loud, the thoughts, or does he hear it in his head?
You want to give it a try?
What do you mean?
Do you want to try it? He has 4 stones.
No, but like, did I hear the, isn't this really cool?
No.
No, you
No,
you
okay,
did
so
not.
it is in his, okay. I just was wondering.
Yeah, you did not. That's why it was only him.
Orgarn, you're weird normally, my friend. But
I have
you-
one for each of you.
Oh.
It should allow a
Thank
mass
you.
communication.
That would be great.
Try it out. And he goes. He just kind of. I mean, you don't have to close your eyes, but he closes his eyes for dramatic effect. And all of you each have a blinking light on the stone. When you press it, you hear, "Yeah, this is pretty cool. I'm really glad I came up with this idea myself."
I push the button, and in my thoughts I say, "Shibada wop wop woo wop."
And then, for those of you that press the button, you'll
Here,
correct.
Cool.
And when one person presses the button, it seems like it plays the message for everyone.
Oh, so no secret.
That's kind
Oh,
of
when one person presses
Yeah,
it?
so if one
Okay.
person
So
presses it,
it enters all of our thoughts.
correct.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
So,
So-
if someone's, if we're separate, and somebody notices that theirs is off, but somebody else may not notice because they're doing something.
He does also say to you, I've increased the range to about 160.
Nice.
Good.
Good.
You're improving.
Well, I am a bit of a genius, but I had help from my friend. And in walks in a half-elf, half-orc.
I was about to call for you.
I am here, Your Majesty.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
I know you wrote down his name.
I know I did too.
You built power armor for all of us?
I did not build power armor for everyone. The power armor is taking a little bit longer to fine-tune and tweak. But I can outfit a couple, and by a couple I mean maybe 10 guards that decide to go with you.
Guards? What the heck?
Correct.
What about
I
us?
do not trust it for important people right now. I'm not exactly well.
They put it on.
He
and it
kind
helps them.
he kind of has a bit of a, not an evil grin, but he has a bit of like that sly grin where it's like, you know, these are like my test dummies basically. But he doesn't say that.
This guy
Obviously.
reminds me of you.
Oh, what?
Reminds me
Yeah,
of you.
I don't test it on people. If I don't
I
like
wrote-
him, I shoot
I
him.
wrote his
If I
name.
like him, I give him
That's
my gold.
that's
I
fine.
wrote his name somewhere, but I just can't find it right now.
That's fine. We'll go with a new name.
Just call them Squiggle Bottoms.
No, Squiggle Bottoms is not the name. We're gonna go with the name of.
No, it's Horgarn.
Oh, did you find it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Horgarn.
good. Horgarn. Okay, good. See, this
I
is
just
why.
had to look for the red lines on my
Good.
Word document with all the misspelled
Good.
words, misspelled names.
So Horgarn.
Horgarn, yeah.
Yeah, he says, I don't exactly want to give power armor when I haven't really tested it on people. So I would prefer to give it to the town guards to give them a shot at testing it out for you, Your Majesty.
Okay, like that sounds good, but what does the power suit basically do? The power armor. It just enhances defense and
The best
absorbs
way
elemental attacks?
that I can describe this for you is most town folk and town guards are pretty weak to where they go down in a few hits. They're just not well trained to take on adventurers, bad guys, etc. This would allow town guards or even peasants to obtain strength very similar to an adventurer such as yourselves.
So if we wear that suit, does that mean we'll double into
It may increase
veteran adventurer?
It may increase your strength a bit, but it's really meant more for the weak than it is for adventurers.
What are the side effects right now?
He hasn't
Well,
tested it.
that's the thing. I haven't tested it. For all I know, it could explode and kill people. It could be permanently stuck to you. I mean, I may be a genius, but I'm not exactly confident in some of my skills. I'm fine-tuning them, so to speak.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. I mean, go on and test them out, because might have a bad one.
Might I point out something?
What?
If he puts his battle suits on very valuable town guard right before a potential attack and something does happen, we are down at least 10 men.
Did we capture any slave traders? Or any of them
You killed one of them.
Person?
You killed one of them,
Yeah.
but most of them, or all of them, saw what was happening after the Baylor, the devil, giant devil.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the fact that Jocasta knew disappeared within a matter of seconds, basically, they basically took off with whatever slaves they had. They weren't sticking around, especially after the Baylor showed its true form. They booked it.
Well, plus, if we just stick the armor to some other criminal prisoner or whatever, they could just use that suit's power and bust on that.
We'll chain them down or something.
Chain him down or
Just
something.
saying.
I mean, Carn's got a sizable amount of.
The younger guard that originally brought you guys in does come in, and he says, I will protect the city with Ronan, as Ronan follows close behind. And they come out from what looks like, when you kind of peek in, it looks like it's...
Wait, the monks are leaving?
No, the monks are still there.
More
Ronan
coming.
and the original guard that brought you in, from one of the other former trade companies.
Oh, yeah.
They come out of what looks like a war room or a planning room.
Okay.
Uh,
So they're all playing war.
And they basically say, we can protect the city, my king. We will do everything in our power to make sure that the city of Carn is not overrun should a force of orcs make their way here.
That sounds good.
Then you should know there's a path leading from the orcs to the inside of the town.
My scouts have already told me and reported. Thank you, Master Kalsifer.
Wait, is this Ronan talking?
Yes.
It is.
Does your scouts did they find any traps or guards, or how far did they explore the secret passage?
They did explore the entire secret passage, and I will say this, that it seems to be clear.
All the way on the other side too.
All the way to where the entrance of to the exit of the other side is.
But they didn't scout any further.
They did not.
Well, that's good news.
We can either close the secret passageway or we can leave it open and send guards down there. It is your call, of
I
course.
say we fill it with traps. Either fill it with oil and make it so that way they can burn if they try to enter, or fill it with cantrips lined with poison.
So many good choices around here. What to do?
I know, so many good choices, so many good plans, huh?
All right.
So Ronan and the young guard, they leave back into the war room.
Mm-hmm.
Xenon does bow and he says, "If there is nothing else that you need from me, I will make sure to go and get several of our men ready to maybe do some more scouting in the Orcish encampment."
Is there a way to be able to reach you if we need anything in the future?
I do have Sending Stone version 1.
Do you want to leave it with Xenon?
Leave it with somebody, yeah. It'd probably be best, but then there's the version 1. What's the range on that, though?
It's like 100 feet or like 120 feet or something like that.
I'm just double.
I believe it's 100 feet.
Are there any marks that you use when you line the forest in order to send messages to your friends?
It's 150, so the new one has 60. My apologies. Go ahead. Repeat again.
You're fine. Xenon, I know your men and Ronan must use some kind of markings while you're traveling through the forest to communicate. Do you do anything in marking the trees that we might be able to know so we can pass on messages to you if need be?
He kind of pauses and thinks about it for a minute, and he says,
Without you, revealing too much of yours.
He says, "We tend to leave claw marks in the trees, specifically horizontal claw marks."
Okay. 3, 4, 5?
And he takes his hand and he just kind of goes like this, and he says, "About 5, 4 to 5. You'll know."
If we need anything, we'll leave some marks. Hopefully you'll get that before we... Yes, die.
Do not worry. We will
We do
make
have-
sure to do everything we can to protect you.
We do have all these sending stones. I think we have like 6.
You do have like
Old, quote-unquote,
you do have
old.
like 6 of them.
6.
Yeah, but they have
So
about
you have
100
the
feet
first
range.
so you have the first ones, which are 100 feet range, which are
150.
You can talk into it, but only hear the message mentally. And then the second ones are walkie-talkie like,
And they're both 150 feet.
and they're both 150 feet. And then the newer ones that you got, which are telepathic walkie-talkies, are about 160 to 200 feet.
Which, while that's far, we don't actually know if,
It's going to be much farther between the distance and
exactly.
Correct.
Alrighty, so this. How about this? We'll continue to scout the activities of the Orc tribe. As far as for now, let's put guards in the secret passage, and we'll decide later on if we want to trap it, barricade it, or keep it open. And then we will go and talk to these storm giants.
Very good, my lord. We will make sure to do as you command.
And also, Horgarn, you can start testing your power suits on 5.
Did you say Horgarn? You can?
Horgarn.
Oh.
Yeah. Horderim.
Horderim.
Horderim or Hordrim.
Hordrim.
Yeah.
Hordrim, the half-elf, half-orc.
I thought you said Horgarn. I'm like, you're Horgarn.
I like talking
Kalsifer.
He's talking in third person.
Horgarn, you can.
He's a royal we now.
And Horgarn, you can just sit back and relax with all the maids.
Hordrim does bow. He says, "We will test the power suits, my lord, as you command."
Ordrin,
Yes.
is there a flaw in focusing on just one
One what?
power suit and getting it finished?
Well, I mean, we could focus our time on fixing one, but we wouldn't be able to really focus on a mass production.
Well, while a mass production would be great, if this man has to go and fight the leader of the orcs, we don't want him to die.
Of course not, but I believe you've all gotten this far with the strength of your own might and power.
I think you'll be fine.
No man is powerful alone.
This is true. This is why he has friends.
This is why we have you as well.
Ha.
You are also a friend.
I am merely an inventor for my king. But I will do as you command. Whatever you say, we will do.
Sounds good. Oh no, that sounds good. And also, can we also have a scouts also scout out a little bit further beyond in the secret passage to see where it leads to? Because I mean, we know that it goes underneath the city and out to this other place.
All you need to do is give the command, my king, and we will do as you command.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. Yeah, I just want to see how much further, where exactly it leads to.
Very good. Then I shall do as you bid.
Alright.
And Xenon bows. Hordren also gives a slight bow. Cobblepot just kind of waves, and he just kind of waddles off with Hordren.
Oh, before they go,
Yes.
you said the slaves that
Correct.
were sent away. Where did they just push them off into the forest or whatever?
I think they
Did they take them anywhere?
No, I think they
Or-
took off in
Released
the.
them.
Oh, the slaves?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The dragon.
Some of them went
The
without
dragon.
their slavers.
Correct.
but-
The dragon. There was indeed several that were taken across that were still in chains. Humans, elves, dwarves.
Right.
Specifically, more dragonborn.
Right.
But those that were released are currently around in the city still.
Okay.
I also give Xenon Sending Stone version 1. Let me just tell him, like, limited range, 150 feet, but, like, just let me know, like, if we're not anywhere near, or if we're close enough, just send me messages.
As you command.
So he's got one part of Sending Stone version 1.
Yeah, he can talk into it and then hear mentally.
Yeah.
And same with whoever among you has the other one,
Which I have.
which you have. So what else would you guys like to do? This, I mean, you guys are still pretty much planning at this point.
I'd like to talk to the dragonborn slaves, if I could.
If you
And
would like
maybe-
to, you
yeah.
can. How would you like to go about doing that? I mean, they're
Because my mind has been on those dragonborn, and I'm like, I
As
want
it-
them
as it rightly
as it
should
should be.
Yeah, as it
exactly.
should
Since
be.
I'm now the king of Landtap, and I want my kin to be safe, exactly, and a part of their own people, especially since dragonborn have been scattered and moved around so much that now that we actually have a city, I'd like to talk to them about going there. And
So how would you like to go about that? You can try to walk around the town and do that, or you can. I mean, Horgarn can call a decree in the town, or like a kind of like a town meeting or a city meeting type deal.
if Orgon can spare a couple
I mean,
town guards to
there are mages that can help boom your voice throughout the city. I mean, there's a lot of different ways. You just got to be imaginative.
Yeah, that's definitely good. No, I'll send some guards to. Well, if Orgon can send some guards around the city just to wrangle him up and to ask him to come to the town hall or the palace.
You might scare them.
If that's true.
Yeah, that'll
If they, I don't want to.
Have-
That was bad.
No, your idea is good.
Yeah.
Gathering them together so you can speak with them, excellent. But if you send
Doing it
guards
in a
to
way.
go after someone
I'll
who's
walk
just
the
a former
streets.
slave,
Okay. Would you like to try to take a mage with you, or would you like to
To boom
just?
your voice.
Yeah, that'd be good.
We'll keep in contact with Sending Stone version
We have
3.
the newest version of Sending Stone.
With the newest version of the Sending Stone 3.0.
3.0, that's right.
I'll go with you, Hesken.
Awesome.
What?
Thanks.
He's just walking around
Kalsifer.
town.
Yeah, but we're gonna go talk to these storm giants and we're gonna formulate the plan as we walk.
You have an elf that is very
Yeah.
odd.
a very dashing looking elf. Okay,
Very
I'm
knowledgeable.
Okay. So we'll start with Hesken and Kalsifer first, and then we'll go to Horgarn and Alicia next. So Hesken, Kalsifer, you both walk down. There is a monk. He's not dressed as a monk. He's actually dressed more like a wizard. He has very long, she has very long purple and golden type robes. In the center of kind of where like the cleavage of her breast would be is like a diamond, and it has this swirl of this purple, and then it moves to blue, and it turns to red and green,
And we are obviously looking close enough to be able to tell.
I mean, it just kind of, it just sticks out.
as you guys, as you guys are walking, like both Kalsifer and Hesken are just like just standing at it.
Heads cocked back.
My eyes are up here.
I'm not looking at your eyes.
She says to you, I am Hannah.
I can totally see that in like anime form, just like walking like me.
I am Hannah Orel.
Hannah.
Alright, awesome.
And I was told by Xenon that you could use a wizard or a sorcerer, wizard and or sorceress.
Yeah,
to
protect my
accompany you.
voice. Yes. Yeah, just we're walking through the city, and I want to just start talking
Are you
in.
flustered?
Yeah.
Are you flustered?
Why?
In my little chat thing.
Aruga! You just hear the Aruga.
You guys are like, what the heck?
I know what he means, and I send the message to him. It's like, what's she look like? What's her size? How tall is she? What's her race?
She is.
A shift
Well,
was
go
still-
ahead and roll if you would like to roll to kind of see like perception. I guess would be kind of like if you're checking her out.
Are you flustered?
Yeah.
That's good.
No, I'm trying to figure out what I was going to say to my people. I
Uh-huh.
wasn't paying attention
Sure,
to
that's
what between the bosom of the queen.
So
Someone's like,
your dice is right here.
Thank you.
It
It fell.
fell by my phone.
I saw that, yeah.
Okay, go ahead and roll. So perception. Ooh, wow.
That's
You
two.
don't know how tall she is.
I'm looking.
I'm
just looking.
Yeah, you don't even know.
stuck on that diamond.
You don't
necklace.
even notice her hair color, her eye color. You just like,
I bet you don't have
Like,
broad
Gem.
like he just responds by saying, "She's pretty."
yeah, pretty much.
She's pretty.
Hey.
I mean, he's like smitten by this woman, by her looks. So as you guys walk around, you make your way down the steps. You can see that there are indeed. I mean, there's just several dragonborns that are, and even dwarves and people that are getting their chains kind of pulled off at the local blacksmith as they're, clanking away to rip off or break apart these chains.
See.
I'm just following behind you. I'm not going to
They don't notice you. None of the dragonborns notice you, right? There's probably about 20 of them just standing there as they're just kind of trying to get their chains off. They don't notice you.
My hood's on. I'm just following you.
So, I start talking to the dragonborn. I go right up to
Yeah.
her. and-
Oh, okay. So do you do not want her to project your voice at this point?
Well, at this point, no, since there's a couple right there.
Yeah, there's about 20 of them right there, and there are several more off in the distance.
Yeah.
I mean, other than Aiden Aurora, this was another place for a lot of dragonborns to hang out at.
Okay.
So
there are families.
So there's like
here.
families here. Was families. Some of them are probably broken. Some of them are probably sent across the sea, and others didn't get sent.
What's your
Look at the
plan?
heartstrings, William.
Yeah, right.
I gotta do my job.
So I start talking to the dragonborn. I present myself and tell him that I'm Hesken and we have a city up north called Lanatath, and telling them that there's a dragonborn city, and I want you guys, if you feel uprooted, that you feel like you need a place to go, you can go there. That you can start your lives over in a safe place.
It's looks to be kind of a more older dragonborn. He's black,
Mm-hmm.
and he says, "Where is this Lanatath that you speak of?"
Lanatath is northwest east of here, above the Elven city.
So like southeast.
It would be southwest.
Okay.
Because you guys are currently
we're on the west coast.
you guys
I
are
thought
currently
we were-
northwest. The Elven Kingdom is
Oh yeah, okay.
like basically right down
I
below.
remember.
Carn's over here.
Where's my map? I drew it.
There's one right here.
To the south.
Yeah.
Kalsifer.
Carn's over here.
All right, so
We're
Lanatath is on the opposite side. I point off to the mountains to the east and tell them that Lanatath is on the other side of those mountains, just past the Elvish city.
The Elvish city, you say?
Yes, and we are in good company with them too, so they will help you on your way
Excellent.
through there.
The sending stone that Hesken has is flashing.
Okay, you see this sending stone flashing.
I ignore it because I'm talking to
No, that's totally fine. You
Well,
can-
yeah.
dragon.
Everyone
He
can,
says,
everyone can see that it's flashing.
whoever.
So
yeah,
a younger one, a younger kind of female, she's a blue dragonborn, comes up. She
Mhm.
says, "You, Hesken,
Yeah.
you fought in the gladiator pits here several years back when I was a girl,
I press the button, and
or
then
a
in
young
the mind,
a young woman, I should say."
and then in the mind, everyone just hears, "Do you know Hesken?"
I tell her yes.
It's like, "Do you know me?"
That was me.
It is a great honor.
Yes.
But that's not the actual
It's-
message.
I remember when you killed the former champion,
Mhm.
snapped his neck. It was impressive.
That was a long time ago, and many battles. Definitely, time has passed. Now that we're here now, I'm here now. I want to extend this to you guys, to you.
Do you
Thank you.
hear that? And several of the other dragonborns, they've kind of taken notice when you started talking to a couple of the two dragonborns.
Mhm.
And several of them kind of noticed, and the blue one says, "We have a new home. We can go." And several of them kind of murmur, and it seems to be like excitement chattering, excitement.
Yeah. So we're talking.
There seems to be pretty excited.
The sending stone.
Oh,
Sending
the
stone.
sending stone is still blinking.
Actually, just a quick question.
Yeah.
About that. So, like, if I want everyone to hear it, because I speak into it, and since Alicia was right next to me, it's like, "Oh, I want everyone to hear it." She just press it, everyone just hear it, right?
Correct. Because it's connected, it's all connected. So if one person presses it, everybody hears
As long
it.
as we're within range.
As long as you're within range.
Which
I
I'm
mean-
sure we
Which
are.
Yeah.
where
You are.
We are.
Do either one of you guys press the button?
Sure.
Tell me to.
No, I'm focused on the dragonborn.
So she,
I pressed the button.
okay.
Okay, so the message basically says, because I forgot to ask him. It basically says, Hesken. ... No, I'm just kidding. Hesken, can you see if some of the dragonborns would be willing to stay and help us, just in case?
I would like for them. Okay.
You would have
That's the message you
I know.
hear.
Yeah, you hear it, so.
If they can stay in.
The others don't hear it, but you hear it, obviously.
Because Carn is now a nice place for all races.
For now, I'm gonna click and say out loud, my people will be going back to the city where they will be safe and they can start their lives again. They've been in captivity and in slavery too long. I do not want to put them in harm's way. And I let go of the sending stone and I
So you
Start talking to
basically
them.
hear the majority of that message.
Mhm.
Like near the ending, it kind of cuts off. It's more than 25 words, roughly.
Is it still bound by the 25?
It's still
It's
yeah.
just-
Right now it's still it's basically balanced still by the 25 words. They just increased the range and they made it more mental. He didn't think about like, oh, maybe I should just make it more, where you can say more words. So he's like, if you tell him to, he might be able to try to work on something like that. But for right now, he just kind of was figuring out other ways of improving messages.
The sending stone's blinking again.
I ignore it. Back to the dragonborn.
Yeah. So several people are excited. There are a few that do kind of look on in skepticism. They're skeptical.
I see that in their faces.
Yeah, and they kind of listen, but they don't really,
Believe?
It's not that they don't believe. They're just kind of like, basically, one of them says with the skeptical look. He says, while it is good that there is a dragonborn city again, some of us have a home here. Family. While the humans may not be perfect, or the dwarves, or the elves, we neither are perfect as well.
I understand that you have a home here, and I don't want to take you from that. I'm just telling you that there is a city that you can feel more comfortable in if you choose to go. But if you want to stay, you can. There will always be a home for all dragonborn in Lanatath.
You are a kind soul. I can see that. And they kind of go about to get their chains. Like, they kind of give a bow, obviously, because they do recognize... Some of them, or a lot of them, do recognize you as, like, I guess royalty.
Mm-hmm.
Or would be, because they do see the crown on your scales.
Mm-hmm.
Others, they do bow and respect, but they don't necessarily... they're not necessarily like on board of going to a Dragonborn city, at least for right now. That may change down the road, but there are several that do stay behind.
Right. And I tell the ones that want to go that if you see other Dragonborn, spread the word.
We will spread the word to those that wish to come. Is there an escort that can guide us? Most of us don't have weapons or training when it comes to combat.
I will see what I can do. I will talk to Horgarn and see if he can provide an escort or maybe even Rowan. But pack your things if you want to come. And if you meet us at the throne room, and we will talk there.
Hesken,
Yes.
what happened to that Ronaldo? Is he still in the carriage next to Hesken's original home? I mean, Horgarn's original home?
You don't know what happened to Ronaldo. He was with you guys.
We do still have the carriage, and if he's there...
And Pilar is also missing.
What?
Missing?
Yeah, he's not anywhere to be found near you guys.
Oh, well, you could have mentioned that right when we... I assumed he was... I assumed he was with us, but then now that we kind of split off, I kind of forgot about him, but...
Yeah, he's not... Like, I didn't say anything because I wanted you guys to see if you would notice.
I
know the player isn't here, but...
I assumed Pilar was with us, but then once we started splitting off, that's why I forgot.
Yeah.
But, oh no! Victor's having his way with him! That useless god!
in the words of Pilar was not complaining.
But Ronaldo is gone.
He's not just like
Well, I mean, I think.
passed out drunk somewhere. Like.
Well, I mean, I think we all entered the city at the same time, and then he just went his own way.
Very possible.
No, I thought he stayed with the carriage. He didn't want to enter.
No, he went with you guys.
No, he's been with us this whole time.
He was riding on the back with Pilar,
You?
with somebody. He was with
He was in the
somebody.
carriage with me.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought he stayed in the carriage.
No,
He did when we investigated the house.
Yeah,
His old house.
The Triceratops still with the...
No,
or is he in the
it's
Pokeball
in the
with
Pokeball.
Pilar?
It's in the Pokeball with Pilar.
quote unquote Rose Ball.
Correct.
Oh, wait.
Correct. The
Oh,
rose
look,
ball.
Pilar has it.
Correct.
Oh, dang it.
Correct. The rose
We
ball.
could use that thing just to charge into the camp. The orc
Right, I
trap.
forgot about our velociraptors.
I haven't. I just haven't seen the need to pull them out.
But several of the dragonborn do nod to you, and they say, the female one says, "We will meet you over by the palace as soon as we spread the word."
Wonderful. What time is it?
It's so when you guys got back, it would have been morning, early morning.
So now we're like 10 o'clock-ish.
Yeah, it would be about 10 o'clock.
Then
Correct.
I tell them that we'll get you ready to leave the next morning.
For those of you that are outside, which is Kalsifer and Hesken, go ahead and roll me a perception.
Well, I think we're all outside. We just split
18.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
okay.
because we're going to go talk to the storm.
Okay, so go. You two can also roll perception as well.
Nat 20.
I got an 18.
Oh, so I got a 25.
Nice. 25, 18,
I got a 21.
21.
13.
Okay, Alicia is a bit lagging behind tonight, but I'm just kidding. No, anybody with the 10 or higher, you see two elves. They look very similar or identical to each other, arm in arm.
Elven
Walking.
Special Forces.
Arm in arm. They never hold their arms together.
They're walking arm in arm. They're not. It's not like lovey-dovey arm in arm, but it's like,
Brother and sister.
yeah, like they're locked. Their arms are locked,
I've never seen brother and sister lock arms before.
and they're walking. They're just kind of walking
Maybe an
around.
anime, but that's about it.
Ooh.
Who is closer to them? Are we closer to them, or are they?
So you guys are probably about 50, 50 feet away, and you guys are actually probably closer as you're coming down, had just gotten down the steps at this point. Or at least you were heading down the steps when they were coming kind of up the steps towards you guys. So they're about 20 feet coming, from you guys as they're coming up towards the mansion.
So he just found the Dragonborns like right off the bat.
Well, he found 20 of them
Oh.
that were getting their chains
Oh.
loosened at the blacksmith. There's definitely more in the city. And my voice just cracked. Gotta talk deeper. No, but so he found 20 of them, and as they were getting their chains off, there were several more.
So I took the mage for nothing.
There were several
You can
more.
still use
She's
it.
still around.
You can still use her if you would like.
Okay, so they're closer to us, so I'm gonna walk up to them and talk to them.
Oh, Alish, it is good to see you, my friend.
Okay, it's the brother and sister, right?
Yes.
Okay. What? Oh, I don't remember their names.
And
Ah,
Tyrael.
Tyrael.
Cheryl and
and
Laria.
It is good to see you.
Laria! What are you guys doing here?
Horgarn.
Hello.
She, she kind of gives a bit of a smile at you.
Oh, you got a smile.
I am sorry to hear about your city.
She's not going to be
The
smiling when she
city,
hears about
my
your maids.
parents, everything went to hand in the hand basket down the river drain, and my ham was with it.
Yes, it
What?
is unfortunate. She's a little confused at that. We had hoped to come and help you, at least when it came to some information that we thought you might be interested in.
Yes, we need all the info we can get, and then I just fill her in on just what's happening with the Orc tribe and the Bay Lord.
You
demons.
can, yeah, okay, that's fine.
It's just like,
Yeah, so you tell them,
so, and just like what our
and
potential plans are.
yeah, they kind of have a bit of a grave news, but Tyrael says, "Well, Horgarn, would you like us to maybe see if the Elven Queen Regent will grant the Special Forces leave of absence to help out in this mission?"
That'd be great, but will that take a while? Because like we're 4 days away from, 4 days away from the Elven Kingdom.
It may take a little bit of time, but
Do you think she's the type where
We
it'd be
can-
more like ask for forgiveness and not for permission?
Well, she'd have to. The special forces are up there, so either way, we'd have to contact the special forces because the special forces are up.
Well, there is another option, brother. It would be nice to use the Elven Brightwood Company. They are currently doing nothing.
I think that they would like that.
They might be a bit rusty, though.
What do you
But,
mean?
well, they have not seen combat in quite some time. But this might be a good use of them. Granting their commander would grant them leave.
Oh yes.
Will it take them 4 days to get here?
I don't know. I mean, I would assume so, unless they have a way of teleporting most of their forces. But
Oh, what was that called again? The teleport gateway between two areas?
so they essentially it's like a.
I read it in the Horizon
What are
Walker.
those dice?
Yeah.
Archetype.
I don't know it off the top of my head. I usually just kind of call it a waystone or like a waygate, basically.
No, okay.
So essentially, it's like a gate that is channeled through magic from one city or the other on one side. So either side can close it off at any time if an invasion does happen.
Mm-hmm.
How
Or
do we
can.
go about getting a waygate?
So I think they're like natural portals, right?
Correct. Yeah. Well, most of them are natural portals. Some of them can be made, but it would take time. The city of Carn, as far as you know, does not have one.
Okay.
But he says there are wizards within the Elven Kingdom that do know some teleportation magic. Enough to maybe get a good portion of the Brightwood Company. It may take a day to rest and relax, or at least half a day, anyways.
What do you think?
Sure. The more the merrier.
Let's do it.
Just in case we do go into full blown conflict.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to have them here, even if they are.
Very good. If you, he kind of reaches into, for starters, he reaches into his pocket, or into like a coat pocket, and he hands you what looks to be a parchment.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to open the parchment?
Do I have to roll for it?
No, just open it. Just open it.
Yeah.
You just tear it.
But it's just like, yeah, open it.
So, basically, so the parchment, in a nutshell, it basically reads, ambassadors from the Elven Kingdom to the city of Carn, looking to establish trade, peace talks, and free intercourse. In terms of trading and everything like that.
It's not that kind of intercourse, Alish.
Jeez.
Oh, it wasn't just me. Come on.
So also in there,
I think Alicia was the only one.
it
that
would
had one.
also be included in their military alliance, trade agreements, stuff like that.
Approve. Stamp of approval.
Wait, who was sent to do that? The
Tyrael and Alaria.
Yeah,
ambassadors.
they
The
came.
ambassadors.
They came to some.
Approved. And but we do bear in mind we do have this this potential conflict with the Orc tribe. So
Alario does smile and she says, "Yes, we have noticed. That's just why we are here."
what do you think of our plans of assassinations and starting a small civil war within their tribe?
I don't necessarily think you'll find that a civil war will be anything that they will fall for, but I do like the idea of a duel. Any real man worth his salt would win in a duel.
Getting a taste of his own medicine.
And
Tasted my own medicine. What?
I don't know.
and Tyrael says, "It would probably be the less bloody solution, but
And
there
think
are
about it.
giants as well that we recently saw. You should have seen Aiden Aurora and the giant Colosseum that appeared out of nowhere.
What?
Giant Colosseum.
Have you not heard?
No.
Oh.
What happened in Eden Aurora?
Long story short,
It
it's
fell out of the sky.
Oh,
It did. A Colosseum did teleport out of the sky. Landed in the middle of the alleyway. Giant rumblings had appeared. Eventually, it stopped. Much of the city of Aiden Aurora, several of the towns, due to the massive earthquakes and tremors, several buildings were destroyed. But after the Colosseum, several different types of giants, or giant creatures anyways, were seen leaving. Some were blue in nature, some were with a pale blue with scales, some were more of a frosty looking blue. Some of them looked like normal skin color, like a giant human. Some looked red, as if fire was coming from out of them. And some looked as if they were covered in stone. And several flew into the sky.
Oh. Well,
And they each went their own way. It was very weird.
yeah, very weird indeed.
When did this happen?
It happened roughly about 3 days ago, 4 days ago.
I mean,
What were
like,
we doing 4 days ago?
we were in Carn. I thought the whole giant thing happened, like, while we were
So
gone.
That's when they came
that's
through.
when they came through.
But when did they appear? It was 2 days before that. Were we in Carn yet, or were we still traveling to Carn?
You were already in Carn,
Okay.
so you were in the city of Carn. Because the decision was, do we go to the city of Carn right away, or do we report back to Aiden Aurora? And you guys decided to go to the city of Carn. See, had you now, just as a fun side note, had you gone to Aiden Aurora, you would have seen all of this happen. But because you went to the city of Carn, you missed that.
It's more like branching of stories, just like.
Pretty much. Every decision you make, there's something happens, there's an impact.
Causality.
Pretty much. We have come to label a lot of these. We've seen regular hill giants before, but these other giants that wield frost, air, fire, we've never seen them, so we've labeled them. Some have been able to wield the power of storm, which is quite unusual, but
We're going to see them now.
indeed.
There, a couple of them came through here, or near here, and we're going to go talk to them and see what.
We wish you the best of luck, and we will make our way back to the city right away, to our home, to let the Queen Regent know that you have accepted her trade agreements
Yes.
and her military alliance.
In your travels, can you go along with a party of dragonborn?
Ah, the Dragon King. Welcome.
Oh, yes, I wasn't there. That's right.
As you walk
That's how we walk up.
Yeah,
Right,
you
'cause
do.
we
You
saw
do.
them
You do walk up
50 feet away.
Yeah, you do walk up and you overhear the last part of them getting ready to leave.
Yes. On your way back to the Elf Kingdom, do you mind accompanying a band of dragonborn, freed dragonborn slaves back to Landeteth?
They bow their heads slightly and they say, "It would be an honor, King Hesken."
Also, like, I still got the parchment.
Yes,
Right? So, like, and they're gonna like take that parchment back, right?
correct.
I write in the parchment, it says P.S. Like, no one can see this, but P.S. I look forward to our date, and then I give it back the parchment paper.
Oh.
You give it to Alariel or to Tyrael?
Alaria, but it's rolled up, so no one they don't see what's been written
Oh, okay.
because he says go to the Queen
Yep.
Queen Regent.
Yep, the Queen Regent. Yep. Okay.
It's all rolled up.
Okay.
Give it back.
They do acknowledge and they say to you, "We will." Tyrael says, "We will accompany them, of course.
Thank you, Alario and Tyrael. You'll be doing me a great favor.
It is our pleasure to serve our allies." And eventually, after about I would say probably maybe after about 20 minutes, depending on what you guys want to do in that time, or you can just kind of chill and discuss more or whatever. But eventually the dragon, you can see that Tyrael, Lariel, and probably about, I would say, if you were to try to count, probably close to 50 dragonborns that didn't get taken away do go to the city or do follow them. There's several more that do stay behind. Most of the ones that are going look like they tend to be older folks and children going with Tyrael and Alariel. The rest of them are kind of younger people staying behind, and it looks like they are just cleaning around the town and grouping together and staying close together. But Tyrael, Alariel, and about 50 or so do take off. At this point, it's probably close to 10:30, 11 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, we still gotta find them storm giants.
Yeah, let's go to them.
Are you still gonna look for other dragonborns? Hesken?
With their talking, did it get throughout Carn?
It does. That's why there's about 50 of them that do go, and there's a good portion that do stay.
No, I'd go with you guys to go see the storm giants.
Are you the only one who speaks giant? Does
I
anybody
guess
else
so.
speak giant?
I don't think I speak giant.
I don't think I speak giant.
I don't think so. Unless I magically learned giant.
No, you learn how to speak Dragonborn, though.
I know that, but that's from a headache.
That is. That is from Headache.
You could go find a giant language book and put your...
Yeah, but I only remember it for 10 minutes.
The
What use is that
is
gonna give me?
across the sea.
What weapon?
The final key.
I'll keep that in mind.
Well, let's go find these storm giants. Are they at the harbor area, or are they like
In the water.
in the water, like
Correct,
in
they
the
are-
harbor, or outside of?
They're out in the ocean, like they're far out away from the harbor, more in the like just in the ocean somewhere.
What? Like,
The storm giants?
Yeah,
are they like? Will we have to take a rowboat?
you would probably have to take a boat of some kind to get out there.
How far?
You don't know.
Are we going to start our shipping
Thank you
company?
for your guidance, Servos.
Welcome, my servants.
If it's like I didn't know they were out there. I thought they were just like chilling on the coast in the water.
No, they're like in the water,
Well, that's no good then.
Like you, from time to time, you can see like certain parts out of the distance. You can see certain clouds forming,
Mm-hmm.
thunder coming down into the water in certain areas.
Which is probably where they would be.
You can see that there are giant waves that do erupt, as it looks like. Well, you wouldn't be able to tell from where you're at because you're within, because it's about 100, 150 feet off into the ocean, out in the ocean area.
Wait, the waves or the all
Yeah.
the stuff is like 100
Yeah, so everything
feet
that's
to
happening, like you can see the waves, and some of the where the thunder and clouds are, but it's really hard to. You can just kind of barely make out what looks like figures doing something in the ocean, or at least.
They're enjoying the beach, okay? Leave those poor giants alone.
And then it looks like it settles down, and it looks like things kind of erupt again.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question because I don't know how to find it.
Okay.
Can I turn my familiar into any kind of sea creature?
A
I
goldfish.
think you could turn it into an octopus.
A goldfish.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you can turn it into an octopus, actually.
Well, I'm sure you
I mean, we
can turn
could-
it into anything.
And you can talk
Right.
through your.
Well, they're in the
challenge rating,
in the player's handbook, and it also should tell you on your familiar what you can turn it into. But
is only a
Like,
certain
Maybe
list.
even just find them.
I mean, can you talk through your familiar?
Nope.
No.
you can see and hear what goes on through your familiar, like you did before with Night Fury in the
Yeah.
in the
it
trade
would help-
post
I
down.
mean, but it does take an hour.
Yeah, it takes an hour to conjure up a familiar, then just to find them, and then you have to be within like what, 150
Oh, for it to be able to
to stay connected to it, or like even farther out for your familiar to connect it to you.
It's fine.
but
It
not,
adds character.
but not like control it or anything like that.
All
So
right.
like so like from everything that's happening out into the
out in
ocean,
the sea.
how far away is it?
It's
And,
about
like,
it's
as
about
I
yeah.
hear-
Yeah, so you can it's about it would be like about probably close to 150 200 like feet away from there. So it's like it's quite a bit of ways basically. It's like you can make it out, but it's like they're dots in the horizon. Like you can
That's pretty far. That's more than 150 feet.
right. Well, it looks like something's happening where they're trying to fight something, or maybe push something away from the city. Like it looks like whatever it is they're doing, they're trying to move away from the city. Basically, is probably what you would guess.
I don't know what to do. I'm so confused though.
Shooting like, well, they're pretty far out. They're farther out than I thought they would be. Should we still go try and talk to them, or should we just
Keep in mind they've had a full day's head start going into the ocean.
They're like, so you're saying they're a day away?
And that's giant.
Yeah, and that's a
Jump.
that's like giant steps.
Well, scratch that plan then. I mean, we'll run into them when we decide to go across the sea, probably, and be like, "Hey, guys, be our friend." But I don't think we have time to spare on that.
Well, then let's go to let's go to the orcs.
Oh, I mean, go to the orcs,
Yeah.
or I mean, we still gotta wait back on the scouting reports and stuff. I'd say let's do some shopping.
You can do some shopping if you like. We are going to go ahead and take a brief break, give everybody a chance to eat, use the bathroom, take a look over notes. We'll be back after this short break.